Hello. 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 Hello there. Hi. Hello. 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 Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this video where I'm going to be going over some of my top 10 quality of life requests for Guild Wars 2. This video will be going up on Patreon early. I'm going to be trying to use Patreon a little bit more. I forgot that I had it completely, and with coronavirus, being at large, any support would be more than appreciated. So that was my little plug. Links are in the description. And without further ado, let's get started into my top 10 quality of life changes. Starting with number 10, yes, we're going from greatest to least in terms of numbers, but number 1 being my most valued. You guys know. Number 10. For my quality of life, for number 10, I would have, when entering a public strike mission or Vision of the Past, just put all players into a preset squad immediately. I don't know exactly why they can't, if it is completely out of their control and out of their capabilities. However, having the ability to just see people come into the squad and count them up immediately is so fantastic. And the pre-existing in the top right corner where it says how many players in the strike mission, and it always says 0, but there are like 8 people, it just doesn't work. So formulate a way to have people in like a preset blank squad, and when they enter a public one, it caps out at 10. That's what I would do. I don't know why that was never thought of or was never implemented, but I would really love it if it was. Moving on to number 9, we have allow revenants to legend swap and cancel upkeeps while in air. I'm not 100% sure about the legend swapping while in air, but I have heard that you can't cancel your upkeep when gliding per se, or falling. And I just think that is just a little quirk about revenant that is not necessarily needed. I don't see an advantage in canceling an upkeep while gliding. Maybe I could see an advantage if you can start an upkeep while gliding, for world versus world purposes. I don't know if you glide a lot in PvP. So that's number 9. Number 8, we have adjust the effects / consumable bar to be separate from the condition and boon bars. Please. Our character bars have gotten so very long. The upper right, well, above the utility skills is where your boons are displayed and your conditions are displayed, and also your consumables are displayed. I think those like celebration boosters and like the hero banner boosters and all that stuff, and the nourishment stuff and utility effects don't necessarily need to be displayed on that bar. Integrate it when you say you mouse over the dodge bar. You'll see your varying effects. I just think it's cluttered so much, and when you're in the heat of combat, you don't necessarily need to click on someone and see you don't need to see that they have hero banner buffs. Like, that is one thing that you do not need to see. You want to look for the boons and conditions and keep it simple, and maybe effects. In terms of profession effects, that could also be like a little sidebar, just a little bit way for better organization. That's number 8. It's kind of high up on the list, but I think it is very important, and honestly, I wouldn't mind placing that at like my top 3 of quality of life recommendations. But that was number 8. Moving over to number 7, we have the action camera. I want there to be an option to lock your action camera onto a target. So this means when you're like circling an enemy, when you're strafing in a circle around them, your camera will be fixed onto them, similar to other fighting games. Just, especially with Revenant, hey, if you're not gonna fix Revenant Short Bow 4, the Spitfire or the Spirit Crush skill It is the most infuriating skill to use in action combat because you have to be exactly in line of sight with the enemy for no reason. It's an AoE skill. Every other AoE skill can be cast behind you because your character will turn around. Just make your character turn around. But with this option, that wouldn't be a thing, and also it would just make the combat feel a bit more stylized, and for players who want to have such stylized combat, they would have that option. Number 6. In the wardrobe section, have the option to place your character in combat stance. Right now, you cannot. You can unsheath your weapon, however, they're just going to be holding it like in their right hand, basically T-posing it. When you are previewing a weapon, say in your inventory or in your bank, you can check a box that says in combat or combat stance, and it will have your character in the combat pose. That is not what happens in your wardrobe, and I think that would just be a little bit better for when you want to see how your character is going to look in combat. Maybe there's an aspect about your weapon that you're using or your back item, or maybe a legendary effect that isn't wanted or isn't really, desired. Moving over to the top 5 now, we have number 5. This is for salvaging kits. People might share these thoughts that I currently have. You may or may not. But for my 5th quality of life change, I would have Salvage Kits Check to see if the next item that they salvage will throw the inventory into the encumbered status. I cannot tell you the amount of times where I have farmed on a character and I have gone to salvage using my Copperhead Salvage-O-Matic, and I just start salvaging everything and every single inventory slot gets taken up, and then you're hit with that encumbered screen. Why is that? Why is that needed? I'm sure that there could be some way for your salvage kit to check if the next item that they salvage will put you into encumbered. Therefore, it would not happen, because then you have to sit there trying to see what you're going to throw out, if you're going to consume something, if you're just going to go over and sell it, and you're going to have that window up for quite a while. It gets kind of infuriating. Maybe have a message that says inventory full and like an exclamation point icon on your bags. You don't necessarily need to go into the encumbered state. Unless, of course, that's only with salvage kits. If you're out in the open world collecting stuff and you happen to be full on your inventory, that's your problem. I think that's actually pretty smart to do, but not for the salvage kits. Number 4, we have the option to cull all mini pets in raids, strike missions, fractals, and dungeons, and possibly other player back items, or implement a standard profession model in high-end PvE, such as raids, strike missions, fractals, that they have in PvP for your enemies, but this would be for your allies. It's just unnecessary. It's unneeded bloat, especially when you're in the middle of combat. Me personally, I don't want to have a million things on screen, a million mini pets on screen. It's not something that I want to have happen. And I also don't want there to be 5 players with the legendary backpacks just blazing in my face. I want to be able to see my character. I want to be able to see the ground target effects and not have like any frames drop for unnecessary reasons. So having the option to cull at least many mini pets in such scenarios would be really great. Or by standard, just have all other mini pets other than yourself, your mini pet, just not show up in raids. I think that could also work. Number 3, we're getting down to the wire. Number 3, I have expand all, or not expand all, but expand upon the existing Effect LOD options. Make it to where it's slightly more customizable. Now it's just a check box that you tick, and you don't know what exactly you're culling. You don't know what skills are being reduced, or you're not going to be able to see. If you had an option where it's like show your own player's skill effects to the maximum particle effect, quality, and resolution, that would be great. But while also having the ability to turn off like ally players' unnecessary heal skill effects, or things like that. Be able to implement those effect LODs onto other players while not necessarily affecting your own skills. And they have started to do that with auras, which leads me to my second point. My second and third point are pretty similar. My second recommendation is re-implement the Cull effects, which have gone over the years, and implement them in a similar way to the auras. So back in the day, during the alphas and the betas, we had much more grandiose and flashy effects. I don't think they necessarily need to go that hard, but I would love for them to allow players to get those effects back in a way that is suiting, of course, with effect LOD options and effect culling options. I think auras were great. You have the option to see larger auras, or if you tick the box, other players' auras will be reduced. You could do that too. I mean, honestly, I think about it right now. The Druid, when they were first releasing the Druid, the glyph skills had such fantastic animations, and they have since become so dull and muted that it's no longer as satisfying as it could be, as we know it could be, because we have seen these effects. And similar to Dragon Hunter traps, they used to have these beautiful set animations and set skill effects, which have since gone away for I don't know what reason, other than, of course, you know, a visual bloat. But having that culling effect and that culling technique would allow you to see what you're placing, not necessarily needing to look down at your skill icons and being like, okay, I'm pressing this. And making sure visually that you're also getting that confirmation. Additionally, I just want to see skills be updated a little bit in terms of their effects. It's 2020. Some of these effects have been here since 2012, and they might need a little bit of a brush up. Saturation, color palette changes, maybe some darker colors, maybe not as many whites that are just flashing in your face. That was a long-winded rant on my third and second quality of life change, but my number one quality of life change is make the equipment templates account wide. This is a monetary change along with a quality of life change, and I think I have a pretty good argument for equipment templates. Now, do I think that they're going to be doing this? No. This is, of course, 100% hypothetical, but this took my number one spot for many reasons. So, as the equipment templates currently stand, they are character bound. You have 6 equipment templates that you can buy for one character. If you buy one, it only affects that specific character. As someone with 30 characters, and as I know many other people have many, many characters, I speak for myself, and I think I speak for at least a decent population of players who have multiple characters and multiple same professions. I will never, ever buy an equipment template. It's just not going to happen. 30 characters, multiply that by 6, or technically 4 because we have 2, but we need 4. Multiply that by how many characters that I have. It's not gonna happen. It's too much money. I just am better off buying another character slot. Having that equipment template be account wide gives players incentives to buy it and to max out those 6 equipment template slots. And then what they can do is implement more over the course of, you know, say an expansion or a saga or just general content updates, and improve the cap to say you can now hold 10 equipment templates or 12 equipment templates. Granted, I would see a bump in price because it's no longer character bound, and because you do get like 6 equipment slots to store your equipment. That is my ungodly request, and honestly how I think that it should have been done in its original iteration. I don't think people would have been as quick to complain if the equipment templates were account bound. And hey, even the build templates, however, I'm a little bit more lenient on the build templates because we do get 3 baseline, and there's just so much so much customization, and additionally, it's not such a pain to change. However, the equipment templates become a little bit more convoluted and hard to, you know, of course, store all your gear that you want on one character, but only having 2 spots to keep it in. You're like, but I want to play 3 different play styles, and I have 3 different equipment tabs, or 3 different equipment pieces and gear sets, but I can only use 2 of them because that's what we were given. That's my little quality of life change, but honestly, just a flat change to how the equipment templates work. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. This is my top 10 quality of life changes for Guild Wars 2, which, I don't know, may or may not happen, but this is a wish list of mine that I would like to see. You never know if some of these will eventually come into play, come into the game. They might, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like the video if you liked it. Comment down below your personal quality of life changes. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear if you perhaps agreed with some of my changes or just blatantly disagree with my changes. I'd like to hear it. And yeah, subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 videos. I have a lot coming. I have a Druid rework, fan rework that I have coming out. I, of course, have the fan-made Elite specialization videos coming out, and I now have all 9 professions much more fleshed out. I still have medium and heavy armors to finish. However, they are much stronger from when I first introduced them. So be on the lookout for those videos, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.